We are under the same parent company called 811 Group as our sister companies, Calculated Hire and Metasource. So while Brooksource is more on the technical side of things, Calculated Hire does a lot more when it comes to like business recruiting. So think, accounting roles, finance roles, sales roles, anything kind of in that vicinity. And then Metasource is more on the healthcare side. So travel nurses or healthcare tech professionals could be listed in that as well. But we were established in 2000. We have 32 brick and mortar locations now nationwide. So we're constantly expanding. I myself am obviously in our Phoenix market, but we've started to expand to working with some California-based companies as well. So it's been cool to kind of break into a new market out west. Our Elevate program, that is the program that I run. So this is an associate level hiring program as well as a veteran hiring program. Within that program, we're able to provide additional technical training and professional development training, all again to get you upskilled, get you in the right seat with one of our clients, get you feeling good within a new role. So with that, I offer both pre and post placement career coaching, similar things to like webinar series like this. But this last little graphic is just how to engage with me and with my team. So first step is what we're doing right here, some sort of on-campus or virtual interaction. Next step is, feel free to reach out to me afterwards, set up a first, little interview, meet and greet, get to know you, conversation. We can definitely do like a resume review during that time period. Obviously, the goal is to get you kind of set up with interviews with one of our clients, job offer, and then that gets into more of that Elevate space with, again, that professional and technical training piece. So again, our Elevate program, these are just kind of telling you a little bit more about the 4 pipelines that we tend to lean towards within this program. So, and these are the types of candidates I mean when I say pipelines there. So emerging is going to be, GCU students a lot of times, so university or boot camp grads. Diverse talent pools that can be, in any facet of it. It could be through, women organizations, Black, Asian organizations, anything like that. Veteran, that's going to be through our Project Patriot program. So these are military veterans re-entering the workforce or looking to kind of change up the careers into IT. And then that leads into that reskilled piece. So a lot of times these are individuals who maybe were in a different industry, had fully different career, decided that they have a passion for tech, for IT. A lot of times these individuals go back to school or go get a boot camp degree or something like that, and then are looking to just have someone help them, catapult into that different industry. Just a little bit more info on consulting and staffing firms. So again, what are they? We're a company that offers a service of providing employees outside of a company's usual, internal hiring portal. So for example, a lot of the roles that I work on are not even roles that you'll see on a company like PetSmart's portal necessarily. So how we work, again, screening candidates, offering, that placement or coaching support, I should say. I get asked this a lot of, do you have to pay them? So the answer is typically no, and definitely not with Brooksource. We do not work as headhunters. So we're kind of more the inverse of that. If you think headhunters, a lot of times they, approach you specifically, say, hey, you're great, I want to represent you. And then they're going out to specifically, chat with a bunch of different clients, saying, hey, you got to talk to this one person. We work on that inverse side of things. So this goes into the overall process where we get that requirement from our clients specifically. And then I go through and screen candidates that I might have, whether I've chatted with them before or I'm doing, full-blown active recruiting on there. And then obviously client interviews and job offers from there. Perfect. So we'll get into the big pieces here. So again, job longevity. So what is this and why is this important? We'll just kind of kick this off here with a couple little definitions. So job longevity. I'm going to mess up on that many times, so bear with me. This is going to be the length of time that a person remains in one job or within one organization, I should say. And employers see this, again, this is why this is important. Employers will see this as an indication of your commitment to them, and really kind of what they can expect to get out of you almost as an employee. And Shannon, I see you on here now. So I think next slides, oh, I might have this one actually. But so these are just a couple items of really how to grow within a career. So these are kind of the stepping stone pieces to get into that job longevity piece. So finding your purpose within an organization, whether that's, a specific skill set that you really have, a role that you really, really love, a purpose or mission statement that you're kind of driven behind within an organization. And then surround yourself with a community that helps you thrive in that. That can be your community at that organization specifically. That can be your family and friends outside of them. Those are those people that are really pushing you to continue to grow and achieve your goals within an organization. Challenge yourself. That's going to be a big one, especially as you are, looking for that next promotion, looking for that next career move, or to see what you can do just to continue with that company. And then the last one there is just finding a mentor. Obviously, that's always going to be helpful, not only for networking purposes, but that typically your mentor is someone who's kind of been where you maybe want to go, or been through similar functionalities of, your roles or within the organization. You can really lean to that person as well to help you out, especially as you're looking to grow. Shannon, I'll kick it off to you. Do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Yes, I so apologize. First, I was running late from a meeting, and then Zoom hates me, so it was a little stressful there. So my adrenaline's dropping a little bit. All right, hi, my name is Shannon Ridler. I worked for PetSmart. I've been with PetSmart for 15 years. I'm currently an IT manager over all of our distribution applications. We have 7 distribution centers. So a lot of what we're going to talk about, well, what my slides are, is you're going to hear a little bit about my career and what I've experienced, and some of my tips and tricks. So if you want to go to the next slide, awesome. So some background on me. I graduated from the University of Arizona, don't hate me, in December of 1999. So it's going to age me a little bit, but so I came out of college super excited about what my career was going to look like, and I was in operations management. And so I had a kind of a rough start. But when I first initially started in a distribution center in operations, I was like, I want to be a general manager. And now fast forward 20 plus years later, and here I am working in a corporate position in IT. So if that gives you any gauge of like something that is not going to be a ladder, that would be it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So there's 2 traditional ways of, or not traditional, there's 2 ways that generally people have their careers progress. So there's the ladder, and then there's the lattice. And each of them have pluses and minuses. The ladder is something like you want a specific position, you want to work up through all the different levels to achieve that. So if that's going to be, maybe you want to be a partner at a law firm, you're going to start out, in the lower levels and work your way up. But what we're seeing a lot more now is that people are doing a lattice, because those ladders can take a long time, because you're looking for a specific position and you have to wait for that to open up. Whereas a ladder, you kind of actually move all over the place, which gives you a lot more experience, but may take you longer to get to your ultimate goal, or maybe it's going to change your goal along the way. So, for me personally, I started out on the ladder and I jumped over to a lattice, and now I'm back on a ladder. So you can do a little bit of both, just depending on where you are within your career path. A lattice will give you a broader experience. And so for me, I have done everything from operations on the business side to being an infrastructure project manager, never done that before, to being a manager of a call center, never done that before. But the reason why I've stayed with PetSmart for so long is that they've given me those opportunities and basically said, hey, Shannon, we think you would be successful at this. And that's how I got the opportunity to jump into those positions where I literally had imposter syndrome every 2 years with a different position, but I learned a lot and I made a lot of partnerships. I actually have a lot more value within the company. So that's another thing to consider when you're looking at lattices, is that you bring more value because you have actually expanded your breadth of knowledge. So it also shows flexibility and adaptability. I love change. So if you want to do the lattice, you may have to absorb a lot of change. So make sure that you keep that in mind as you're looking at your different career options. But then ultimately, I think that for me personally, I encourage everyone to do something that scares you just a little bit, that makes you nervous and kind of pushes you, because that's really going to take you to the next level. Next slide, please.
Yes.
All right, so how do you get noticed? There's multiple ways. And what I can say is that when I started out my career, I did not take advantage of a lot of this. And so when Megan and I were putting together this presentation, I was like, oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. So Megan already touched on finding a mentor. I cannot stress that enough. Find a mentor, especially if you can find a mentor in an area that you want to be in. That is a great North Star for you to help get you where you want to be. It needs to be someone that you respect, someone that you feel is influential, and someone that you can take feedback with to help improve yourself to get to that level that you want to go to or into that different position. Another one is company trainings. So if a company offers free training, take advantage of it. That's going to help you be more valuable at the current company, and you can take that with you. So that's something that if it's in functional areas, if it's technical development, if it's personal development, anything like that, take advantage of it because it's free and you're kind of expected to develop anyway. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? So another one is resource groups. So you're going to hear associate resource groups, employee resource groups. These are basically groups of people that are like-minded about something. So for example, I am part of our women's organization at PetSmart. I started out in an operational lead. I'm now 5 years in. I'm a co-chair. And what this has done is it's given me a lot of visibility. It's given me a totally different perspective. And now I get to support other people in the growth of their careers as well. And I'm an introvert. So I have pushed myself, talk about doing scary stuff. I have pushed myself to be part of Toastmasters. And I've done a bunch of different things to try to push myself to the next level as well. I also presenting with Megan. I mean, we met in a very like she helped provide some resources for me, and now we're doing presentations together, which touches on networking a little bit too. Socializing accomplishments. So I am also a facilitator of I Am Remarkable, and if you have not had the chance to take that, please look it up. It is a really great workshop. And it's all centered around sharing your accomplishments and making sure that everybody knows what you contribute. You may think other people know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. They do not. Your boss doesn't know. They've got other stuff. They've got other people that they're leading. They've got other projects that they're doing. You need to make sure that people know the value that you bring to the table. And that's what I Am Remarkable is all about. But if you take nothing else away, make sure you socialize those good things that you bring to your companies. And you can actually use that outside of work as well. And then networking. Again, I'm an introvert. Networking is extremely painful for me. I get a lot of social anxiety from it. It's very stressful for me, but it's imperative. The old adage of it's about the people that you know, not what you know, is completely like spot on. And you'll see that in your career because you will use that. Like I have built a lot of relationships. I pride myself on my relationship building at PetSmart, because I can go to a resource and ask questions and they know who I am and I can get stuff done. But it takes a really long time to gain that respect. And especially being a female, I've always worked in very male dominated areas of supply chain and IT. And so I've had to work extra hard to build those relationships. But now I have a solid core group of people that I can lean on. And if I leave the company or they leave the company, those are people that you can actually tap on the shoulder and say, hey, what kind of opportunities do you have at the new company that you're at, right? Or maybe you end up being a boomerang, which basically is you leave a company for a while and you want to come back. You've already fostered those partnerships and those relationships that people know who you are and they know what you can do. So extremely, extremely important. Another way to do networking too is go onto LinkedIn. And find areas that resonate with you, things that you enjoy, or even in areas that you work. So I just recently joined one called Retail Women in Technology, and I'm helping them grow their platform, right? So I am doing an I Am Remarkable facilitation for their group, and I am helping to be a mentor with that group. Again, you're kind of discreetly networking, right? You're working with a lot of people out there in the field. They've got a lot of experience you can learn from, and you also have those connections that you may need in the future.
Absolutely. One thing I'll say on the networking is exactly that. You never know what a random conversation with someone will benefit you in the future. I've had many just like, thrown into a group setting together, end up chatting with someone. Turns out they're also in IT and we can network a little bit on what we both know and different things like that. So There's ways to definitely do it even if you're not extroverted. I think that's
Yep.
the true testament there.
Yep. Agree. All right. So this is my last slide, oh, nope, I lied. I have two. You're stuck with me for two more. So one of the challenges, so I'm sure all of you have seen, there have been a lot of layoffs. A ton of companies are going through restructuring. The market is really, really pretty tight right now. It's definitely an employer's market. The position that you get, and I'm not trying to be like completely like, you know, a smasher, but you know, we're all numbers, right? And when it comes down to it, you have to show your value and why they should keep you on the team. So with that being said, I have done that a ton with PetSmart, building those relationships, getting engaged in my ARGs, making sure that everybody knows what I accomplished, because when they go behind closed doors and they're deciding who to keep within the company, then they know, hey, Shannon's included herself in all of this. She's trying to give back to the company. She's trying to learn. She's trying to grow. She's trying to make an impact. And that has kept me here. And I have probably survived 7 different layoffs. So both on the business side and the IT side. So it's about making yourself stand out from everybody else, because you never know what's going to come down, you know, on a company. It could be a recession, or it could be just the market isn't there anymore. So it shows your commitment to the company, your willingness to embrace change, adaptability, knowledge. If you can display all of those things, why would they get rid of you, right? You're an asset to the company and they're going to want to keep you. All right, last slide. All right, ultimately, if you don't change, you become stagnant. And especially, I'm in the retail world and we have to change. And if you're in IT, you have to change. You can't stay with your same platforms forever. They aren't supported and they become outdated and then they're archaic. So I embrace change, partially because I have to, but I enjoy it and I like the thrill of it. But you know, you're going to become obsolete if you don't change personally as well. You have to adapt. You have to be able to, you know, change and figure out really what your path is in your career. And that may be within the company that you're in, or maybe outside of the company, right? But that's a choice that you'll have to make at the time. But every opportunity that you have for networking and being able to help yourself grow by doing that lattice or taking that training, it's going to give you all of the power and those tools for whatever position you have in the future. And ultimately, the goal is to find out what you love and what you love to do, right? Because we spend a lot of time working. And I tell my associates this as well. If you are happy, then I'm happy. If you're not happy, we need to find out what makes you happy inside or outside of the company. I will help review your resume if you want to, you know, look for a job outside of the company. I will do whatever it takes, because having happy people on your team makes a huge difference. And I want to make sure that everybody, you know, is comfortable with what they're doing. So.
Absolutely. Awesome. I think wrapping some things up here, just general tips and tricks. Obviously this has been a lot of information. So just to kind of summarize some key things here, again, seek out people who will help you succeed. Those might not always be directly in your organization. Obviously, find as many people in your organization as you can, but you never know, again, who's going to be someone outside your organization that can help catapult your career in a different way. Share your goals or ideas with your peers, your managers, your mentors, everyone that you can force to listen to you about your goals. I think that's really, really important. Something that's cool about my company is that, you know, everyone kind of starts from the ground up. So everyone starts in a recruiting role. And then if they want to move up to different things, there's all these different paths that you can kind of form. But my company has had a really, really cool opportunity where a lot of people have been able to be creative and say, hey, I think we need this type of role, or we need a person who can focus on this, this, and this. And there's been many people in my organization who's been able to kind of create their own role just because there was a need for it. So that's something, you know, I strive to do too. I say, hey, I think there's a need for this, and I'm telling anyone who will listen that these are my goals. So you never know what opportunities can lay behind that. Continue to reach out, build your network. Of course, that's always going to be, I think every single workshop we've ever done talks about networking because it is so, so important. And then once again, Shannon did a great job talking about this, but brag about yourself, brag about your accomplishments, and all the great things that you're doing, because it's definitely important to see.